Good morning, everyone. How's everyone's day going? My day is going, kind of slow. I just spent nearly 2 hours rewatching Impact Wrestling last night, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around how to do this again. This is a big chore for me. Um, I don't normally do reviews because it takes a lot of work. I had to rewatch the show 3 times just to write about it. All right, so I'm gonna be reading off the phone, not going off what's in my head. All right, bear with me. I loved how the night kicked off with AEW's highlight of Kenny Omega winning the AEW World Championship. I thought that was fantastic. Hey, Jared, I thought that was fantastic. We saw the footage on Impact's Twitter, and we were thinking, are we gonna get this footage on opening night? And we did. We got the whole shebang, the whole thing. Tony Khan made an appearance. The wrestlers in the back made an appearance. Calling Don Callis, that was absolute bullshit, made an appearance. Just a lot of fun things were in that program, and I loved how it had that slow Impact feel. You know, like when Impact does those promo vids where they do the Impact slowly. That's something AEW didn't do. Impact edited that. And I thought that was pretty cool how they added the slow motions to all the finishers. Fantastic work. Then we get match one, Josh Alexander versus Chris Sabin. The match started off strong, with Josh Alexander in the lead. Sabin then started to get some defense and doing what he does best, fast and strong. Then they take it out to the outside where both Ethan and Alex Shelley check on their teammates. None got involved, so the referee didn't do anything. Uh, then they get back in the ring. Sabin does a very impressive standing shining wizard. That was pretty cool. Josh Alexander was standing, and Sabin comes flying out of nowhere with a shining wizard. And you know what a shining wizard is? It's when you have to knock your knee above someone's skull. And Josh is a giant dude. Sabin is a tiny dude. So he's launched himself almost 6 feet to get that shining wizard on his dome. That was incredible. But then Josh strikes him with a ripcord, which is a strong right forearm right into the side of the head. Um, but and then Ethan shouts, "No, no, 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 no more elbows, no more elbows." Josh, drop him on his head like you did Alex Shelley. Drop him on his head. And Josh retaliates and yelling, "I know what I'm doing." With that slight miscalculation, Sabin rolls Josh with a jackknife cover. Jackknife cover is one of my favorite pin moves. It's where you pin horizontally onto your opponent, where they leave little to no room to kick out. Where you grab the legs and put your back on the torso of your opponent. Jeff Hardy did it a lot, and it was my favorite pin maneuver to put into my custom wrestlers on SmackDown versus Raw, the video game, where you do a jackknife cover where you grab the legs and put your full body on their torso and their shoulders. So this very struggling to kick out. Hey, Jared, I said that already. Thanks for watching. So with a jackknife cover, Sabin wins the match, which means I want to say that's step two in the Motor City Machine Guns plans, but it's not because technically that wasn't the North. That was just one half of the North. And then we get news that Ethan Page will face Carl Anderson at Final Resolution, which if Ethan Page wins, they get a title. They get a tag team title rematch. All right, on to this now. We get a backstage segment, the first one of the night. Chris Bay was trying to strategize with Moose, but Moose wasn't hearing him out. Moose raised his fist saying, "These talk for me." Basically means shut up or get punched. I don't want to hear it. His fist saying these talk for me, and then Bay didn't take that very well. He said, "That'll change come Saturday when I become Impact Champion." Then Moose responded, "Then we'll talk. We'll talk then. That's when we'll talk." Moose is a very changed dude. I mean, we've seen him evolve and grow in the last, I want to say, 5 years, but this is a very different Moose. He's not that Moose guy anymore, or the fun-loving guy, or the company guy anymore. He is now controlling his own narrative, and it was that gift that EC3 gave to him on his way out. Excellent work. Then we get a paid advertisement from All Elite Wrestling. Tony Khan and Tony Schiavone. Tony and Tony go on pretty much how they paid Impact to use this time to advertise their show. Threw a few shots in there, like Tony Khan usually does with all his interviews. There was a few things in there I didn't really like, but I saw where they were going with it. Very exciting to see what comes of that. Basically, the announcement was they were running off the list of all their wrestlers and the card tonight, and said the Young Bucks were the best team. John Moxley was the best wrestling around the world. He was the best champion wrestler for the world. So he was basically undermining anything Impact was doing. And because they paid Impact to air it, they thought it was valid. I don't know. I don't know about all that. But it was pretty exciting to see or hear about that AEW paid Impact to air this advertisement. Great stuff. Where was I? Match 2. Brian Myers versus TJP. This was a pretty even match from the start. I mean, both wrestlers put on their best in the beginning of the match. Like TJP went at Myers went at TJP. Both put in their work. Excellent stuff. But near the end, Brian Myers knocked TJP off the top rope. He's like, "Bye, TJ." He just tossed him off the top rope. TJP fell hard, and Brian recovered the match. Then we get a commercial break. There was one point in the match where TJP had Myers in a submission hold, and Myers pulled the referee by the pant leg and tossed him on the TJP to break the hold. And after a short go between the two, Brian Myers hits the clothesline from Stanford, which he calls it via Twitter that I saw last night. And hits the clothesline from Stanford to win the match. That was a devastating clothesline. My thoughts on the match, it was fantastic. Brian Myers is winning a lot out of me. There's a lot he can do, and he's absolutely showing it. TJP knocks it out of the park every night. So this was a fun match to see how it would work, because it was probably a first time ever. I think it's the first time. So yeah, it was a fun match. I enjoyed it. Probably the strongest match, one of the strongest matches of the night, in my opinion. Just because I like fast-paced matches. Backstage segment number 2, I believe. Cody Deaner is having a heart-to-heart with Cousin Jake, telling Cousin Jake that he needs to do this alone. Jake says that Joe During is going to get involved and I want to help. And Cody's like, no. I need to do this. You can be at ringside, but the full match I need to do on my own. That he needs to do this alone. Jack promises he'll stay out of it until the match is over. Backstage segment 3 with Rohit and TJP. Rohit was railing TJP, like saying, you've had a worse year. My year's great. All you've done is fail. And saying this has been his year and not his. And Rohit says this Saturday is the final Rohit challenge. And it's open to anyone but TJP. Dude, his ego, his head is about to explode with how much he's over on himself. And then TJP looks defeated and walks back and say, "Hey, Rohit, good luck in your final Rohit challenge." And Rohit's like, "Luck? I don't need luck," and laughs it off. Oh, match 3. Eric Young versus Cody Deaner. Eric starts this off strong, but then Cody Deaner retaliates and just wails on Eric Young. Like, for a good 2 minutes of the match, he was strong on Eric Young. But then he steps back and yells at Eric Young and says, "I'm not a nobody." Eric takes advantage of that, and Cody Deaner launches himself into the ring post after he did an Irish whip to Eric on the ring post, and he took a step back and did the whole splash, and it completely backfired. Eric tosses him outside. Jake checks on him, and he brushes Jake off, saying, No, I need to do this." Cody jumps over Eric's back with a sunset flip, pins Eric, kicks out. Cody goes to the top row. Joe Doring comes to interrupt, and Jake comes to the side to say, "Back off, Joe." Cody again talks to Jake and said, "Let me do it on my own. I know he's there. Let me do this." He takes up way too much attention, way too much time, and he does that launching headbutt off the top rope that Angle used to do. Or was it the man we don't speak of anymore? The flying headbutt. And then it misses, unfortunately. And misses Eric Young. Eric Young takes advantage and drops Cody with a devastating pile driver. Absolute. My thoughts on the match. It was fantastic. I thought it was pretty good. I knew it wasn't going to be as long as it was because they're doing a different version of Eric Young, and I didn't see him losing, although I was pulling for Cody to win this. It's a Cody thing. We all need to be on top. But I really didn't like how it kind of felt like a squash match. Cody Deaner was strong, though. I liked that, where he was doing the whole not letting him leave the rings, one of the corners, and just pounding him, coming back, pounding him. Strong clotheslines out of nowhere, and everything else was fantastic. But then again, Eric Young won, and that kind of upset me. Anyways, then the aftermath of the match, Eric Young and Joe Doring. I can never pronounce his name right, so I'm just going to call him Joe. Joe start brutalizing the Deaners, and out comes Rhino with a lead pipe. He scares off Eric and Joe, and nothing happens from that, except there was a match announced that Rhino will face Eric in a match at Final Resolution. Jared, I see all your comments. I know you're doing in doubles, but I am doing this, and then I will answer comments. So just keep commenting, and I'll read them at the end. So that happened. Backstage segment where Tommy Dreamer was trying to calm down Johnny Bravo because he was shot, and apparently Mr. Mundo, the stuffed dog, was hit with some shrapnel recoil damage. "He shot me. He should go to jail." Tommy confronts Larry D and says he shouldn't be a free man, but Larry D proposes a match between him and Tommy. If Tommy wins, he can take Larry D to jail, which I'm pretty sure would be a fun segment where it's called Wrestler's Jail. That would be pretty funny. I know there's one nearby because Eric Young did a did a little intro video to Bound for Glory, surrounded by a jail cell. So I know there's one nearby they can shoot in. And then Tommy said, okay, and if I win, oh wait, no, if Larry D wins, he's a free man. And then it goes off, and Tommy's like, okay, we'll do that. And he's like, wait, and Larry D's like, wait, you can do that? I can wrestle in a match, and if I win, I go a free man. You can do that. He's like, and Tommy's dream is, I can do whatever I want. And that's how it ended. Another backstage segment, I lost count of how many that is, with Tommy and Scott D'Amore. Tommy is worried about Don Callis and his AEW and the AEW business. Tommy goes off about Scott, saying, I know Don. I know what he's about. I know he's all in it for himself. And he's worried about what this concerns with Impact, how the locker room's going to take it. I kind of feel the same way now that I know it's all the rumors I keep hearing about, and then everything else. Lawrence D was the one that shot Johnny Bravo, not Larry D. But Larry D, alternate ego, is Lawrence D. And then Tommy goes off, and then Scott's like, well, you know what? That can happen. That's later. Whatever it is right now is booming. This is nuts. This is crazy. People are talking about this. It's blowing up. So whatever is going on, let's just enjoy the ride, because there's a lot of people on it. Then Tommy Dreamer thanks Scott for hearing him out and always being a friend. And they both say they love each other, and he leaves the room. This is a lot. Match 4. The final first round match of the Knockouts Tag Team Title Tournament. There was a lot to discuss in this, so I didn't write every little detail like I did the past matches, because there was a lot going on, and I couldn't write it as fast. With Kimberly and Deonna Purrazzo versus Tyra and Rosemary, both teams started off completely strong. The team broke off into chaos. At one point, Taya and Kimber were simultaneously doing the splits, and they're fighting while they're doing the splits, doing elbow chops, fist chops, pounding, and everything else while fighting splits, and they're fighting while they were splitting. Fighting while they were splitting. As Deonna and Rosemary fight it out, Deonna looks for an opening to kick Taya in the back of the head. She ducks, and Deonna inadvertently takes out Kimberly with a pump kick. That was a brutal pump kick. Just a little, it's great. Rosemary with a spear, with a spear on Kimberly. With a spear on Deonna. And then Taya takes out Deonna to the ring, and then outside the ring, Rosemary pins Kimberly with her pile driver, whatever she calls it. I forgot what it's called. And they advance and will face Tasha Steelz and Kiera Hogan. My thoughts, it was a fantastic match. It was probably the strongest match of the night. Like the Knockouts do, they always deliver. They always know where to go and know how to wrestle. Like, we have the strongest roster on the planet, and it shows week after week. So I thought it was a very strong match, and I was very excited to see Ty and Rosemary advance because they deserve it. I've gone on record as saying I want them to win it because I think they deserve it. There's only one reason why the Knockout Tag Team titles are returning, and it's because of how strong of a tag team Ty and Rosemary were, that they brought a lot of teams along for the ride. They were the first team to form in Impact this time around, and they surely won't be the last. Great match. Backstage segment with Alicia and Caleb with a K with Tennille Dashwood. Caleb and Tennille confront Alicia with a lot of ideas they have for their match, where they have outfits, names, ideas, and Alicia wasn't listening to any of it because she was distracted with the thoughts of Sami Callihan and Eddie Edwards. Then they told her off that she's off the team and they'll teach her a lesson, which will happen at Final Resolution, where Eddie Edwards and Alicia will face Tennille and Caleb. So guess what? We're getting Caleb back into a ring after his 2017 departure. Crazy. Could it be that Andrew Everett could find his way back too? Maybe. I mean, she's best friends with kayfabe Courtney Rush, so anything's possible, right? Backstage segment with Scott D'Amore and Kimber and Deanna. Deanna goes off preaching the unfairness she has to go through, how she has a lot on her plate, how she has to juggle from this to that, do the tag team title tournament, defend her title, deal with an undead bride, deal with this, deal with that. Scott D'Amore says, well, you lost your knockout title chance, knockout tag team title chance. You took care of Su Yung, so you're cleared for that. It looks like you have a cleared schedule. Now you can focus on proving it, proving why you're the best, proving why you need this, proving everything you say you are. How about you face Rosemary for the Knockouts Tag Team titles, Knockouts Championship at Final Resolution? I thought that was great. It was a great back and forth. Scott D'Amore always knocks it out of the park whenever he speaks. Deanna was taking all of it. It was great. Kimber was just there to watch. I mean, she put a little info like unfair. This is unfair. This is what I have to go through. It's crazy. But it was great. I liked it. Then an in-ring promo segment with Sami Callihan. He goes off saying he's the best in the ring, best in the mic, best wrestler on the planet. Then goes off saying that he's put Impact Wrestling on his back and that he doesn't need Impact Wrestling. Impact Wrestling needs him. Very cocky, arrogant, brash promo going off that he put Impact on the map. He did this. I made Impact what it was after I busted Eddie's face in with a bat. They showed the clip of Eddie unfortunately get his head bashed in by a bat. And then he demanded the people in the back to show the video he did last week where he again bashed Eddie's face in with a bat and the video didn't pop up. The video didn't show up. Alicia popped up out of nowhere. Not out of nowhere, but she walked to the ring and then Sami was like, "You're doing this again? Eric Young may not pile drive you, but I will. And I'm going to break your freaking neck if you get any closer." And Alicia's like, "You're going to break my freaking neck?" Well, this time I didn't come alone. And Eddie comes from behind and knocks Sami Callihan down. They fight. And then there's an advantage where the bat slips almost out of the ring. Sami launches to grab it. Eddie puts his foot down on it and then on Sami Callihan's wrist and grabs the bat between his palms and starts swinging it at Sami Callihan. And Sami Callihan ducks and dodges and leaves. Then we get so that was fun. That was exciting. Match number 5, the main event. Rich Swann and Willie Mack versus Moose and Chris Bay. Moose wasn't having any of Chris Bay's nonsense. He thought it was very disrespectful for him to do all like this Bay stuff, and then Moose was like not having any of it. A lot of psychological stuff happened in this match where Moose again was psychologically tormenting Willie Mack. And then in the match, whenever there was a tag to be made, he slapped Chris Bay's chest, did unprofessional tags where he tagged on the back, and it was just a lot of unprofessionalism in this match, but it was a very strong match. He used Chris Bay as a weapon one time, and then halfway through the match, Chris Bay takes out Rich Swann. Moose does the whole elbow to the side of the head and knocks out Willie Mack. Chris Bay takes advantage and pins Willie Mack. And then Chris Bay will challenge Rich Swann at Final Resolution for the and I have knockouts in the brain, for the Impact World Championship at Final Resolution this Saturday, where he'll also simultaneously be at the Super Junior Cup in New Japan. Fun stuff. Chris Bay can do it all. So that was a very fun match, very fun night, very exciting night, and that was pretty much it. I already did the video on the last part where Kenny Omega spoke, and that was on my video before this one. But again, a very solid night, and over 56,000 people watched on Twitch. We trended worldwide on Twitter, and we made the wrestling world a buzz. Over 56,000 people on Twitch were watching Impact. That's pretty freaking nuts. I think the highest we ever got was 20,000 once. And that was, I forgot what Impact that was on Twitch where it reached 20,000. I think it was Lucha Underground versus Impact Wrestling for the first time. It busted over 20. But this time was an AEW mention, so of course it was a bigger audience to see what was buzzing about it. Now, that's the end of my video. I will read the comments, which has been one person the whole night. Very unfortunate. But again, people watch the replay, the chat's open. You can comment and like what you see, or you can just leave and make me sad. Anyways, hi Cody. Hi Cody. Is the North gonna break up? Possibly, but I don't know. Lawrence D was the one that shot Johnny Bravo, not Larry D. Alicia has every right to attack Sami Callihan for what he did to Eddie Edwards. I agree. Gotta fight for your family. John Moxley gets revenge on Kenny Omega and Don Callis. We'll find out tonight, because that was basically the main announcement last night, was that they have another announcement dropping tonight on AEW. Now, I don't get AEW. I don't get the channel. I don't have cable. And because only the UK can watch it on Fight, I can't either. So I don't know what's going to happen, and I'll have to scroll through Twitter tonight to find out what actually happens. But then again, we'll find out. I don't know what's going on, but for the last time, Impact retweeted AEW last night when they mentioned the word Impact. Not mentioned Impact as a tag. After Kenny Omega's appearance on Impact, he'll discuss his actions with Don Callis tomorrow night, and that was a tweet, and Impact retweeted it. So I don't know if there's a solid partnership yet, but it's something, and that something matters. Sami Callihan is a prick and a scumbag. Well, don't let him hear you say that. So, anyways, that is the end. Thank you for watching, and I will be seeing you Friday for my rundown video of Final Resolution. Stay tuned. And thank you for watching again.